Hello everyone. Welcome to Blissful Warrior Yoga, a beautiful midday practice to help you just sort of pull back a little bit and recalibrate to maybe a place that feels a little bit more like yourself. I'm Rhonda Uretsky. Those of you who don't know me, those of you who do, welcome. Those of you who don't, welcome. So I'm Rhonda Uretsky. I'm the owner of Riverflow Yoga. We are a flagship hot yoga studio located in Lambertville, New Jersey. And right now, our physical studio is closed, but we are here every day on Facebook Live, myself and all of the other amazing teachers from Riverflow Yoga. And we're going to be bringing you various yoga practices that we would like to share with you. All of this yoga is our offering to you. It's free. There is no need even for a donation. We would just like to share with you the practices of yoga that we are finding most soothing in this time of great upheaval. Lots and lots of confusion. Really high emotions, and that's okay. I would like to invite you to, when you come here to Riverflow Yoga's classes, especially to this class, the Blissful Warrior, which is actually based on a book that I wrote about 5 years ago called The Blissful Warrior. And it's actually about my own experience, a time of upheaval in my own life, and all of the many practices that I've curated over the past 45 years of being a yoga teacher and a yoga practitioner and a follower of many, many spiritual traditions, from Buddhism to Abraham Hicks, to many, many other wonderful teachers that I've come in contact with over the years. And somehow all of this information came together for me in a way that's uniquely mine, just as all the information that you learn over the years. It may be out there initially, and then you learn it, and somehow it becomes a part of you in your own unique way. So here in this practice of Blissful Warrior, I'm going to be sharing with you the practices to be most soothing over the years. And I'm going to start something new today as well. At the end of our class, I'm going to be reading you a few pages a day from the book The Blissful Warrior. So maybe at the very end of this practice, you can sort of get back to that feeling of what it was like to be read to when you were a child. There's something really soothing about that. And in sharing my book with you, which is a very emotional book for me to read and to have written, it's very, very personal. I am actually helping myself as well to go through my own emotions at this time. And I would like to invite you to not try to be or feel anything different than you actually do in this moment. Whatever you are feeling, whatever reactions or responses you are having to conditions around you, the first thing I'd like you to do is just say, okay, I got it. This is how I am feeling. It's not who you are, but it is how you are feeling. And a lot of the reactions that we have to conditions around us are often what's called knee-jerk reactions. They are conditioned responses to conditions around us. They're responses that we've usually had before. Triggering events can bring up responses that don't feel like who you really are, but in this moment, it's the reaction that you're having. Hello, Tony. So when you're here in Blissful Warrior Yoga practice, I want you to stop beating yourself up for whatever it is that you are feeling, for however it is you have reacted to any condition around you. I'd like you to just rest in the idea that whatever you are feeling is valid. And for the time that you feel that feeling, it's very real for you. I also invite you to, if you allow yourself to feel the feeling, to notice how quickly it will pass through you. And it doesn't just pass through you as if it's something you have to get through. It's really doing a healing on your nervous system. So allowing yourself to have whatever feeling that you are genuinely feeling is a way of healing your nervous system. I want you to think of your nervous system as if it's a snow globe or a glitter wand, you know, one of these shaky kinds of things. And when this glitter wand gets activated, things just start going chaotic in there, moving in all different kinds of directions. And it can feel just like this inside of you when something triggers you. And I know there are lots of triggering events these days. They just seem to come one after the other. The truth is, it's always been this way. Conditions outside have always caused some trigger inside of you to be activated. Now they just seem more obvious and maybe even more dramatic and more dire. But notice that just like this glitter wand, there is a moment of activation, there is this wave of chaos, and then there is a settling. So if you will allow the feeling to simply have its action on your nervous system, and it really isn't so much an action on your nervous system as your nervous system calibrating and adapting and becoming resilient to this condition, to this activated feeling, that eventually, if you simply do nothing, just like this glitter wand, everything will settle. These days, so many different triggers are coming at us from all different areas of our lives that oftentimes we don't take a moment to settle. We just go from one activation to the other. And this is why you see people erupting into violence, sometimes at very dramatic situations, and sometimes at things that you think really shouldn't be triggering people to be so upset. You know, just like road rage. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and suddenly you are enraged. And then there are some events out there that we view over and over and over again, and every time we see them we get triggered all over again until the nervous system is not in a state of resiliency, which is its natural state, but just in a constant state of high activation. And then one little thing, or big thing, but one event can simply send you over the edge. And this can really lead to states of despair and depression and exhaustion, physical and emotional. But the good news on all of this is, while you cannot control the conditions outside of you, you can control this. Your nervous system is under your control. And all you really have to do is believe that. And don't take my word for it. We're going to practice some practices in Blissful Warrior that will actually help you feel this settling and soothing of your nervous system. In fact, despite my 45 years of yoga experience, I don't want you to think of me as the expert. I'm here sharing with you the things that I've curated and learned and put into practice over my 45 years in the hopes that some of it will resonate with you at a time in your life when you might need it most. Now, yoga and meditation and the practices that we will do here in Blissful Warrior are called practices because this is not like getting a college diploma. Even after 45 years, it's not like you've mastered it and now you're done. This is a constant practice, just as your nervous system is constantly absorbing and becoming more and more resilient based on the conditions and the triggers that you will encounter. This practice of Blissful Warrior yoga and meditation is a practice that you can call on in every moment that you need it. That's when you use it, which these days might be every moment. And that's fine. Knowing that you have these practices, that you have practiced them maybe during times when things weren't so dramatic and terrible, or starting your practice now in the midst of a storm of different things coming at you, you can still develop some facility with these practices enough to be able to learn ways that you can manage your nervous system before you become that agitated ball of nerves that just gets tipped over by the least little thing, and then perhaps encountering a very dramatic and very triggering thing will simply send you into a violent rage, which nobody feels good about. even the people in the rage. At the moment, it might offer some release, but afterwards, you have a sense that this really isn't who you are, and it just doesn't feel good to live in a place inside of yourself that doesn't feel like the authentic you. Again, don't take my word for any of this. If you're coming right now to this class feeling triggered and activated, and I know I am, I awoke this morning and did the thing that I always say I'm never going to do. I got right onto social media and email and constantly checking in. Now, I have gone through my Facebook feed and I have curated it very, very strictly to filter out things that I feel are going to be triggering for me. And still, lots of triggering news came up. And I really found it, after a while, challenging to put that phone down. And so I spent a couple of hours when I have promised myself that I would only spend 15 minutes a day, just scrolling through and coming upon relatively bad stuff. Even with a curated Facebook page, still people in my life who are generally upbeat and generally uplifting, posting about their rage and indignation and upset and despair about the state of the world. Not that they or you are not entitled to feel whatever you feel. We are all entitled, and I do like that word. You are entitled to your feelings. But for me, continually scrolling through, again, is just like going from one triggering event to another. Even if it's not an event, reading about it or watching a video can trigger the same activation in your nervous system. So by the time I got to breakfast, I was pretty much in tears. And I kept saying to myself, I don't know where the sadness is coming from. But of course I do. Of course the sadness is coming from my exposure to things that are triggering for me. So this blissful warrior practice in the middle of the day, I find this to be the perfect time for me, and hopefully for many of you who've already experienced some things this morning, at varying degrees of upset, and now it's time to see how much you can actually pull yourself back into this place of feeling like yourself. So we will use yoga, we will use meditation, we will use uplifting thoughts and readings. We will use this as a space for you to allow yourself to feel whatever you feel, and then to feel the difference in the way that you can control yourself inside your nervous system, which of course affects your health and your physical aspects. See which you prefer. See if you prefer being activated, triggered, angry, upset, depressed, in despair, or saddened in any way. Again, not that you are not allowed to have these feelings, but you are also allowed to make a choice. Would you prefer sadness or happiness? Would you prefer calm or agitated? Would you prefer settled or chaotic? Would you prefer hopeful or despairing? Not to make you wrong if you are on the despairing side of things, just to let you see that you have a choice. And how do you make that choice? Well, we start by breathing. I love discussing breathing because it is so natural. It's the first thing you did when you came into this body. You'll be doing it every single moment until you leave this body. And so it is completely natural for you. And yet, bringing your attention to your breath and deliberately deepening it and deliberately feeling the pleasure of it can add so much more life to this act of breathing. So find a comfortable place to settle yourself. I'm here on the ground, sitting on a cushion. If you like to sit on the ground, go ahead. I would advise using a cushion. It's really lovely to have a little cushion under your butt in a way that you're sitting a little forward of the cushion and your hips are tilted down. And if you do that, you can feel how your hip flexors begin to relax and open and how pleasurable this is. Sitting in a chair, absolutely fine. If it has a chair back, go ahead and lean back into the chair. You can do that while I plug my phone in, because I notice I am low in battery here. So all of these little logistical things that I'm doing will give you a chance to find your comfortable place on the floor, in a chair. Lisa, if you're sitting at a desk, it's okay if you're engaged in some work while you are doing this. You get to see how keeping this in the background actually enhances the work that you're doing by putting you in a calmer state, and from that state you actually end up taking actions that give you better results. All of these things work together so beautifully. If you'd prefer to lie down, go ahead. At some point in this class we will be lying down to do some yoga movements. So if you'd like to lie down right now, please do. I invite you to feel comforted. Soothing yourself is the first part of taking care of your nervous system. Sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to feel good. We feel like we have to earn it. We feel like we have to go through some struggle or some hardship in order to earn our place of comfort. Well, I'm going to ask you to put that aside for now. I'm going to ask you to be comforted and be comfortable, because soothing is healthy. If you need a good reason for it, if the reason isn't enough that you simply deserve to feel good in your life, and hopefully as you join me more and more in these blissful warrior practices, you will come to believe that you are a deserving being. But if you need something else to tell yourself, then by doing this soothing, you are calming your nervous system, and that is going to feed into the health of your entire physical body. So choosing what feels soothing for you in this moment. Hello, Sam. Take a nice deep breath. So breathing, as we focus on it right now, will be in through the nose and out through the nose, but making a sound in the back of your throat, like a big ocean sound or the inside of a seashell sound. I grew up by the beach in Rockaway Beach, Queens, and we were always, as kids, finding large seashells to put up to our ears so we could hear the sound of the ocean inside the seashell. Very comforting for me to think about that sound. Or maybe the sound of Darth Vader, that big, strong inhale and exhale sound. If you grew up on Star Wars, maybe that sound, that idea of Darth Vader is a comforting thought for you, a good childhood connection. Whatever you choose to characterize that sound, it's going to be like a big ha sound in your throat, inhaling, and a big ha sound through your throat, exhaling. So comfortable position. A couple of tips: if you are sitting in a chair, have both feet on the ground. Both feet on the ground is like setting that snow globe down on a flat table. Helps the settling of your nervous system. And then place your palm down in your lap, on your thighs. That's also comforting for your nervous system. If you're lying on the ground, lie on your back. Have your arms away from your body at your sides with your palms facing up. Let your heels touch. Let your toes flop apart. Letting your hips relax. And breathing nice and deep in that position is very, very comforting. If you're sitting on that cushion, try hands in your lap, either palms up or palms down. You can have your hands right here in the center of your lap, or you can have the backs of your hands or your palms balanced on your knees. So choose. Now, I can offer you suggestions, but I cannot feel what you are feeling as you try these different tips and different postures. And that's where you get to learn again the comforting of your own nervous system by just trying these little risk-free tips, where the benefit is you just get to feel comforted and soothed, knowing that in this act of soothing, you are giving yourself a healing. Okay, let's move into the breathing. So as you inhale, hear it in the back of your throat. Characterize it any way you'd like: an ocean sound, the seashell sound, the Darth Vader sound. Sounds like this. As you take that breath in, draw your collarbones wide apart, as if your collarbones are one long line from side to side. And as you exhale, let your chin fall a little bit so that your head is level on your neck, and hear that ha sound in your throat. Keeping your collarbones pulling wide, letting your belly empty. Keep yourself empty for a moment. Drop your tailbone down as if it's a little bit of an anchor, and then tuck it up a little bit as if you'd like it to towards your belly. This will work whether you're sitting in a chair, sitting on a cushion, or lying on the ground. Begin to feel, even with this first breath, a sense of lightness in your body. Inhale. Hearing that loud ha sound, the ocean. Pull your collarbones wide. Keep your shoulders from coming up by your ears. If you pull your collarbones wide, you will facilitate your shoulders staying down and level, just in this one movement of collarbones wide. And then exhale. Allow your chin to level. Keep your belly empty. Anchor your tailbone a little bit and let it tuck up. I know for myself, sitting on a cushion, as that tailbone tucks up a little bit, it almost feels like I am hovering over the cushion. You might feel this in a chair. And lying down on the ground, you might feel a lightness in your lower back where normally you might feel an ache. Inhale. Collarbones wide apart. Feel as if there's a little bit of a traction machine hooked up to your collarbones, and it's dragging the collarbones side to side. This will also readjust your spine, make your posture feel really open and beautiful, even give you a sense of confidence emotionally. And as you exhale, hear it in the back of your throat. Collarbones stay wide, letting your chin drop a little bit. So you're not really dropping your chin to your throat, but you're counterbalancing this kind of thing that most of us do, the chin thrust. It's a tension habit, and if you drop your chin down a little bit, your head gets to settle on top of your spine. Again, these little nuanced body things, these little traction movements, these little moments of alignment that match up everything perfectly in your body really help to calm your nervous system. You know, there's tension and strain and stress and pain eventually when your body is anatomically out of alignment. Most of us in our exercise regimes are accustomed to working the body from the outside to try to put things back in order. And that's certainly one way. But think about it this way. If you were a sculptor, you can sculpt many different ways, but let's take these two. You can take a hard block of marble and you can chisel away at it, at that hard block of marble. It certainly worked for Michelangelo, and he produced beautiful results. That's a different story. But let's just say that's one way to do it, right? Take those hard tools and chisel away at it, and you will get results. Or you can take some soft clay, and you can make it pliable, and you can work it around easily. You kind of feel the pleasure of that clay slipping in your fingertips as you get this clay to shape itself into the physical form that you are looking for. Much more soothing and softer. And so I'm going to suggest that in this Blissful Warrior yoga practice, you are working with the clay, thinking of your body as this really soft, sort of adjustable, malleable, flexible, open to being molded piece of material. And as we do these little movements to readjust slightly and to kind of push things just a little bit here and there, that you're going to feel the great results of what happens when everything that starts out in this really soft fashion gets shaped into exactly the way you want to feel. And inhale, pull your collarbones wide. And exhale, allowing your chin to level, keeping the collarbones wide. Feel your belly empty as your breath releases. And when you get empty of breath, I'm going to invite you to stay empty for a little bit before you will take the next breath in. So staying empty, drop your tailbone down, let it tuck up a little bit, under a little bit, and now inhale. Collarbones wide. Feel that side-to-side pull from their collarbones that you will also feel across your chest. Maybe you'll feel something in your shoulder blades sort of locking into place in a very pleasant way. And then exhale. Always going back to that ocean sound in the back of your throat, which, by the way, is doing something quite amazing, doing many amazing things, but one of my favorite to talk about is that you have this little floating bone in the back of your throat. It's called the hyoid bone. And as you vibrate this bone, it sends messages to your brain to release a cascade of neurotransmitters through your entire bloodstream, and that dilates your blood vessels. All of this adding to this soothing of your nervous system. You might not be able to identify all the many countless pieces of good that you are doing for yourself by breathing, but you can feel the difference in the way you feel right now. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Just take a moment to check in on how you feel emotionally. Would you describe it to yourself as calm or agitated? Uplifted or despairing? Just see where you are without any judgment. Listen, maybe you are feeling sad right now. Maybe this breath has brought up some emotions for you that have been buried and looking for a place to release. That's fine. Just know that everything that you feel is appropriate because you are appropriate, as is everyone else. Despite their differing opinions, the diversity of their beliefs, and how much they may, what the trajectory of distance there may be between your way of thinking and theirs, everyone is appropriate for themselves, for exactly where they are, for this moment in everyone's life. Inhale. And exhale. Let that thought settle in for a moment. You are appropriate. What you feel is appropriate. Okay, so let's go into a little movement now. The poses of yoga are called asana, and all yoga that involves asana is hatha yoga. So there are many, many different kinds of hatha yoga. At Riverflow, our flagship practice is Hot 26. It's 26 poses and 2 breathing exercises in a room that's about 105 degrees. It is a very physically challenging practice, but still there's a great meditative aspect to it because we focus a great deal on the movement of breath in and out as we're moving the body. So now we are not going to do the Hot 26 poses today, but we are going to do some hatha yoga. And let's start by lying down. So if you were already lying down, you have a head start. If you are sitting in a chair or sitting on a cushion, now is the time to bring yourself to the floor. You might notice me doing some adjusting as we do this class, just so that you might be able to see a little bit better as we do these poses. So lying down on your back, arms are at your sides. Your palms face up as your heels touch and your toes flop apart. Bring this up a little further down. We're going to start with a pose called Shavasana. It's often called dead pose, or that's actually what it translates into, corpse pose. You're going to feel your greatest relief here, although I invite you to believe that you do not have to get to this place of being a corpse in order for you to feel this sense of letting go. Arms at your sides, palms facing up, heels touch, toes flopped apart. Even here in the lying down pose, you will have your collarbones pulling wide from side to side, so you feel this little pull across the collarbones here. Tucking your chin towards your throat, keeping your shoulders down from your ears. Relax your hands, let your fingertips curl. Feel your heels touching and toes flopping apart and your knees falling out to the sides. And now inhale, balloon your belly out. And as you exhale, drop your lower back. So you deflate the balloon of your belly and you feel as if somebody you really love and care about has slipped their hand under the small of your back and you're dropping into it. Inhale. Collarbones wide, chin tucked. Exhale, deflate this balloon of your belly and drop your lower back down into that hand. This is a pose, my friends. This is Shavasana, the corpse pose. It may be one of the most challenging yoga poses you may ever be asked to do because it does require that you manage and calm your nervous system. And the well-being that you are getting from this pose is infinite. There are just so many ways to discuss the physical and emotional benefits that you are getting from lying still and breathing deep. Inhale. Balloon your belly out. Exhale. Deflate the balloon and drop your lower back. And now inhale, bend your right knee and place the sole of your right foot on the ground beside your left knee, tucking your chin towards your throat. Bring your arms in close to your body with all 10 fingertips towards the wall in front of you. And as you exhale, bend your right knee towards your chest. Move your right knee a little to the side. Bend your elbows and clasp all 10 fingers 2 inches below the right knee. Pull your elbows into your waist. Feel yourself pulling your elbows towards your hips and tuck your chin towards your throat. Relax your outstretched leg and inhale, tuck your chin, pull your collarbones wide. And as you exhale, pressing with all 10 fingers, webbed all the way to the webbing of those fingers, guide your right knee towards your right armpit. So you will bypass your rib cage just a little bit, feeling like that right thigh muscle is going to lie down beside your right rib cage rather than be on top of it. And feeling the knee move closer to the armpit. So being present for the sensations you feel in your body. You might feel a sense of stretch or ache deep in your groin area, on top of your right thigh. You might even feel it a little in your shoulders or on top of the left thigh or on the outside of the right thigh. Remember, everything that you feel in this moment is appropriate. So inhale, tucking your chin, pulling your collarbones wide, seeing if you can get both shoulder blades to stay on the mat. And as you exhale, tightening the webbing of the fingers, drawing that right knee closer to the right armpit. Try to keep your right armpit down. Don't let the right shoulder meet the right knee. Just stay right where you are and just allowing whatever range of movement is going to happen today. Learning to accept without agitation about where you should be or could be or used to be is a really beautiful way to train your nervous system to a place of calm. In this pose, you are opening your right hip. You are also massaging your ascending colon. This is a great pose for the digestive system as you press and change. Release your right leg down, right sole on the ground beside the left knee, arms at your sides, palms facing up. And then place the sole of your right foot on the inside of the left knee and let your right knee fall to the right. Place your right palm on your inner right thigh. Now you won't be pushing or forcing. You don't really care if your knee comes to the ground or not. You're just resting your right palm on your inner right thigh. And inhale. And exhale. Feel like gravity has got hold of your right knee and it's sort of dragging that knee down. You're going to feel a moment when something releases in your right calf, when you really allow gravity to take over. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your right palm to the side again. Slide your right palm under your right thigh, the back of your right thigh. Now pretend that you cannot move your right leg. You can only push it with your hand. So inhale, tuck your chin. Pull your collarbones wide, and as you exhale, using your right palm to push your right knee back to center. Right sole on the ground beside the left knee, right arm at your side, palm facing up, and slide your right leg out to meet the left at the heels. And a moment in Shavasana with your heels touching, toes walked apart, collarbones wide, chin down. Keep your eyes open and don't look at your ceiling. Look down the middle of your body and you will be facilitating some real beautiful space in your cervical spine. As you inhale, balloon your belly out. Exhale, deflate the balloon and drop into that person's hand, just waiting for you at the small of your back. And inhale, bend your left knee. Place the sole of your left foot on the ground beside your right knee. Tuck your chin. Bring your arms in close to your body, pulling hard with all 10 fingertips towards the wall in front of you. Really feel your shoulders get dragged down so much they can't hold any weight or burden. As you exhale, bend your left knee, bend your elbow tips, clasp all 10 fingers 2 inches below the left knee. Press both elbow tips into your waist on either side. Notice how that right elbow tip just wants to sneakily creep up over your rib cage. Small nuances. Press that elbow tip into your side, into your waist. And as you inhale, pull your collarbones wide, shoulders down from your ears. Tuck your chin towards your throat. And as you exhale, pressing with all 10 webbed fingers as you guide your left knee towards your left armpit. Keep your outstretched right leg completely relaxed. Tuck your chin towards your throat and keep checking on that sneaky little right elbow that just wants to creep over the rib cage. And notice that if you can bring that right elbow down towards your hips, into your waist, you feel this opening in your chest that feels like satisfaction. Inhale, tuck your chin, elbows in your waist. Pull both elbow tips towards your hips so your shoulders are so relaxed, so far from your ears, they just can't carry that weight of the world. And as you exhale, tighten at the webbing of all 10 fingers, guiding your left knee towards your left armpit. Now notice that I am saying guiding the knee, not pulling, forcing, jerking. It doesn't even matter if the knee gets into the armpit or not. You are here to experience how powerful you are at soothing, calming your nervous system, which will facilitate all sorts of physical healings and alignments in your body that just feel like home. Makes your body feel like a wonderful place to inhabit. Inhale, tuck your chin, pull your collarbones wide, feel both shoulder blades on the mat, and as you exhale, guiding your left knee towards your left armpit, around your rib cage. And here, you are opening your left hip and massaging your descending colon. Really good news for the digestive system. Change. Arms at your sides, sole of the left foot on the ground beside the right knee, and then place the sole of the left foot on the inside of the right knee, allowing the left knee to fall to the left. Place your left palm on your inner left thigh. Keep the right side of your body completely relaxed. And inhale. And exhale. Exhale. Tuck your chin. Pull your collarbones wide. Feel both elbow tips towards your hips so your shoulders are so relaxed. So inhale, belly out. Hear that ha sound, that big ocean sound in your throat. And exhale, deflate, letting your belly empty. And again, dropping your lower back into that person's hand. And then inhale, release your left arm to your side, palm facing up. Slide your left palm under the back of your left thigh. Take a moment to really imagine that your left leg cannot move itself, but within your left palm you have the power to move your leg right back up. So as you inhale and exhale, pressing with your palm, moving your leg, bringing your left knee back to center, sole of the foot on the ground, drop your lower back, place your left palm down at your side, and slide your left leg out to meet the right, back in Shavasana. Now you might notice that I have a little cushion under my legs. It's not for anything else except to help you to be able to see what's happening here in these poses. All right, so you can be flat on the ground. You do not need this cushion. Inhale, arms at your sides, palms facing up. As you exhale, bend both knees. Now I'm actually going to push this cushion out of the way. So you want to have both feet on the ground and walk your heels in really close to your body. As you walk your heels in, you're going to feel the little traction that you create in your spine, how stretched you now feel in your spine. As your collarbones stay wide, squeeze your legs together. And as you exhale, tuck your chin, bring your arms in close, pulling from your fingertips. You no longer have the ability to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Your shoulders are too relaxed, they're too pulled down. And as you exhale, squeeze your legs together, rise up on your tippy toes and draw your knees to your chest, bend your elbows, wrap your arms around your knees, keep your head on the mat, and grab what you can, wrists, forearms, or elbow tips. Remember, it makes no difference. You're just checking to see where your body is today. So wrists, forearms, or elbow tips. As you inhale, tuck your chin in towards your throat. If you're grabbing your elbow tips, you're looking where your arms cross and your knees meet. And as you exhale, squeeze your legs together. Again, if you've got yourself by the elbow tips or the wrists, you can use your forearms to squeeze your legs in tight, or your biceps, as you draw your knees to your chest. Tuck your chin towards your throat. Now, keeping a very tight hold on those knees, on those legs, begin to press the outsides of your knees into your arms. So you are both keeping your legs squeezed together and also pressing them apart from the outsides. Notice what that pressure does to your spine, how much flatter your spine becomes. You can actually imagine now that someone has come along to help you, and they're going to place a board on your shins and bear down on that board. So you can now feel your spine stretching. Inhale, tuck your chin, pull your collarbones wide. Exhale, squeeze your legs together and press them into your chest, feeling the board on your shins, compressing your whole body to the ground and flattening your spine. There's so much going on in this asana, and all you need to know is how good it feels. Massaging your transverse colon, opening your hips, even strengthening your knees. And then release. As you inhale, relax your arms to your sides, palms facing up. And as you exhale, lower the soles of your feet to the ground and palms facing down. Inhale and exhale. And inhale, bring your arms under your body with your palms facing down and your hips on your wrists. Walk your heels in nice and close. If they're really close, you might actually be able to grab your heels. And just hold here for a moment with your knees squeezed together. Your legs become one unit instead of two legs. Begin to pull your collarbones wide so you feel like you're tucking your shoulder blades together under your body. And inhale. feeling all these little stretches, all these little moments of working the clay, molding the soft clay of your body into a shape that feels comfortable to inhabit. And then release. Arms are still under your body, but you're not holding your heels now. Squeeze your legs together and begin to rise off your heels, your arches, the balls of your feet and toes, and draw your knees in close to your body. You are lying on your arms, hips on your wrists. Tuck your chin towards your knees and begin to inhale again, pulling from your heels towards the wall in front of you and flexing your toes towards your face. Keep your collarbones pulled wide and relax your hands, right? You can wiggle your fingers under your body. And as you exhale, squeeze your legs tight, pull forward from your heels, flex the toes towards your face, and begin to raise your soles towards the ceiling. Keep it slow. And on the way up, turn your knees in a little towards each other. And eventually, the soles of your feet are parallel to the ceiling. This is an incredibly healing and comforting pose. Sometimes, if it's uncomfortable for you to do this in this position, you can actually go up against a wall. And just put your legs up against the wall, but pull from your heels and flex the toes towards your face. And you can notice that the blood can drain from your extremities, and it goes into your hips, where your hips are getting this warm bath. But again, mostly it just feels great. Pull your heels, flex your toes as you inhale, tuck your chin, pull your collarbones wide. Now as you exhale, pull from your heels again and lower your legs slowly. Imagine that you're being held up by the ankles, by this pulley system, this pulley rope from the ceiling, and it's lowering you down slowly. So lowering is its job. Yours is to pull from your heels, flex your toes, and rotate your knees a little bit inward. And just let these ropes lower you slowly. Almost feeling like you're not doing it. Somebody is helping you. You are pulling from your heels and flexing your toes, keeping your knees rotated in towards each other, and going as slowly as you feel comfortable. And eventually, when the heels touch down, you can roll your arms out and lie in Shavasana. Taking a nice, long, leisurely stroll as my legs come down. If yours are already down, that's appropriate for you. Roll your arms out, palms facing up, heels are touching, toes flopped apart. Shavasana. Inhale, balloon your belly out. And exhale, deflating that balloon and dropping down into that hand in the small of your back. And once again, inhale, turn your palms over and bring your arms under your body with your hips on your wrists. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. This time, point all 10 toes forward, tucking your chin, squeezing your shoulder blades together, feeling like you would like your chin to wedge into that little hollow space between the collarbones where you're breathing in and out. Pull from your toes, locking your thighs, rotate your knees inward, and just feel the stability of this as you inhale. As you exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together a little more. Feel the weight of your body come into your elbow tips as your upper back lifts off the mat. And if you feel stable, pulling your toes forward, squeezing your shoulder blades together, you can allow your head to lift. Now, if your head is lifted off the mat, don't balance on the top of your head. Keep that head hanging back. Just keep a little bit of airspace between the top of your head and the top of your mat by lifting more from the chest. Inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Feel like there's a belt cinching your elbow tips together. Pull from your toes, lock your thighs, rotate your knees in. And exhale, drop your head, lift your breastbone to the ceiling. And if your head is back and you can see the wall behind you, begin pulling your chin towards the wall behind you as you point your toes towards the wall in front of you. Keep checking that your shoulders are away from your ears, shoulder blades squeezing together as if they are going to touch at your spine. Inhale, lift your chest more. Exhale, dropping your head, but never touching down on the top of your head. And if your head didn't come off the mat today, then that's appropriate. And inhale slowly if your head was off the mat for you, and begin to bring your chin back to neutral. Use the weight of your body and your elbow tips to slowly lower yourself back down until the back of your head touches the ground, between your shoulder blades touches the ground. Tucking your chin, roll your arms out from under you, back in Shavasana. Arms at your sides, palms facing up. You can feel that warm rush as the energy, the blood flow comes back into your extremities, your arms. It's very comforting. Inhale, pulling your belly out. And exhale, keep your collarbones pulling wide. Sometimes when I check on the collarbones pulling wide, I notice that I was hunching them up again, right? After 45 years. It's always just about being in the present moment and noticing how these tiny little nuances can help you feel more comforted, help you feel more soothed and more at home in your body. It's never about beating yourself up for what you forgot to do or neglected to do or should be able to do. All of those thoughts just agitate your nervous system and really work against your desire, which is to feel good. Inhale. Collarbones wide, chin down. Heels are touching, toes flopped wide apart. Exhale, deflate your belly and drop into your lower back. That lower back dropping into that hand that's waiting, just waiting to hold you. All right, we're going to do a yoga sit-up. Now, if you know that you have a little bit of a tweaky back, and this is maybe your first time joining me, then what you will do is roll over onto your right side and simply push yourself up into a seated position. If you would like to try a yoga sit-up, then it's inhale, arms overhead. Interlock your thumbs as you pull your fingertips towards the wall in back of you. Flex, it's in back of you. Flex your heels towards the wall in front of you. Flex your toes. Lock your legs. So you feel your whole body being stretched from the fingertips to the heels as you inhale. And sit up, holding your breath. Reach for the ceiling. Grab onto your toes. Look at that wall in front of you. Bend your elbows. Double jerk, double exhale. Shh, shh, and drop forehead to knees. Beautiful. Let's do spinal twist. This is always a beautiful way. This is my favorite way to end any class, with a spinal twist. Peggy, I'm so glad you're here. So wonderful to see everybody here. Okay, sitting on the ground. Now, you can start with both of your legs straight out in front of you. If you have some tightness in the hips or achiness in the knees, keep that left leg stretched straight out, pulling from your heels, and bring your right leg up and over so that your right heel is against your left knee corner. If you don't have any uncomfortable achiness, you know, sometimes when your body is stretching and aligning and adjusting, you can feel the sensation and it feels like an ache, but you will know the difference between an ache and a pain, right? Pain, like that sharp stabbing knife thing, you back it down. Ache, you're just allowing yourself to relax into it, because that ache is a sign of opening and stretching and aligning and adjusting, and you want to get the maximum benefit from that, right? You want to bask in that feeling. So, if you don't have any of those knee pains, hip pains, then you can bend your left knee so it points forward. Bring your right leg up and over so the right heel is up against the left knee corner. Now take your hand, pull your heel out from under your right hip, and settle your right hip to the ground. So just take a moment to sit right here, nice and straight. Take your palms, one palm over the other, place them on your knee, and just sit up. Inhale, collarbones wide, relaxed. And exhale, just feeling both hips on the ground. Feel them both equally grounded. Now, bring your right arm behind you, flat and locked like a kickstand. Your left arm straight up by your ear and reaching for 12 o'clock. Begin to draw that right shoulder all the way behind you. Notice how you can't see my right shoulder in the camera anymore. And if you had a mirror, you wouldn't see yours either. Just keep that arm locked. Sometimes when you draw the shoulder back, the arm bends at the elbow. So maybe move it back a little so it's locked. Now bend at the left elbow. Bring your arm around the knee, the elbow around the knee. Push the knee back and reach your hand down. Now with this left arm, I think I said right when I meant left before, or vice versa. Anyway, left arm will be locked. If you're sitting on a yoga mat, you can grab the end of the mat in your palm and lock your arm. If you're not, place your fingertips on the mat and lock your arm. And if you are able, you can slip your hand under your bent knee as long as that knee stays down on the ground and you don't have to lift it up to get it into the palm. So inhale, lift from your breastbone, keep your chin level, bring your right shoulder behind you. And as you exhale, dropping your chin more, look over your right shoulder. Now here's the little yoga game you're going to play with yourself. You are trying to see your right shoulder, but you can never let yourself see your right shoulder. So as you catch a glimpse of it, you move it back behind you and you watch how your very accommodating and very flexible spine will twist. Inhale, chest up, collarbones wide, right shoulder behind you. Exhale, drop your chin and look for your right shoulder and twist, and twist, and twist, and change. Now alternating, bringing the legs straight out in front of you. Again, if you have the tweaky hip, keep that right leg straight, pull from the heel and flex the toes towards your face. And if not, bend the right knee and let the knee point towards the front. And bring your left leg up and over so your left heel touches the right knee corner. Pulling that heel out from under your left hip, settle both hips. And your left arm comes behind you. Give you a little bit of a side view here. So the left arm is behind you. And notice I'm sort of leaning back into my arm. So there's a little bit of a triangle shape here, keeping that arm locked, keeping both hips settled. Right arm up by your ear, reaching it for 12 o'clock, keeping that left arm locked. Bend at the elbow, coming down around the knee and using the elbow to push the knee straight. Like push it back. Then you reach your hand down and you'll be grabbing the top edge of your mat or towel, fingers on the mat so that you can have that locked arm, or slip the hand under the knee, but notice none of this. If the hand slips without the knee coming off the mat, that's your choice today. None of these choices are better than the other. Each is appropriate for whatever feels right for you to keep the alignment of your body. And as you inhale, lift from your chest. Keep drawing that left shoulder behind you, pushing the knee away. And as you exhale, drop your chin and begin looking for your left shoulder. But remember the game. Look for your shoulder. Don't let yourself find it. If you can glimpse it, you can move it away. And twist, and twist, and twist. One more twist. I don't know about you, but I'm hearing all sorts of wonderful clicks in my spine. I know, and I'm sharing with you that those clicks, if you are hearing them, are little adjustments happening all the way up your spine. And change. Beautiful. Now here, coming back to center for a moment, bring both of your legs out, flex your heels, toes pointed towards your face, knees rotated in, place your hands on your legs, your palms on your legs below the knees so that your elbows can lock. Pull your collarbones wide, let your chin go level, and take a breath here. Inhale. Exhale. As you exhale, keeping your collarbones wide, keeping your elbows locked and your chin a little bit level, let your knees turn inward, Drop your tailbone like an anchor to the ground, and then tuck it up a little bit as if you like it to point towards your belly. This feeling of lightness that you have. Here you are, sitting on the floor, but it almost feels like you're hovering over the floor. That is a settled nervous system. Inhale. And exhale. And now it's final Shavasana. So lie down on your back. Get comfortable. Arms at your sides, palms facing up. Let your heels touch and your toes flop apart. Pull your collarbones wide. Let your chin drop a little bit and take a breath. Inhale, balloon your belly out. And exhale, deflate this balloon of your belly. Feel that hand slip under the small of your back and your willingness to drop your lower back into that hand and to really be held and supported. Inhale. Collarbones wide. Notice how you can feel your shoulder blades on the mat when you're lying down with your collarbones wide. And as you exhale, again, hearing it in the back of your throat, knowing that you are dilating your blood vessels and sending this fresh, rich, oxygenated blood so deep into your body with these dilated blood vessels as you drop your lower back. And inhale. It's really a nice practice to keep your eyes open, even though you feel so good and relaxed, so you can remember where to gaze. If you're gazing at the ceiling, then your chin is up a little bit. You got a little bit of a crunch happening in the back of your neck. But if your gaze is down the middle of your body, even if you don't feel your head or neck move, you are actually beginning to open up at the cervical spine, the neck bones. Right? So you end up having it feel light in your neck where your head is settled, instead of having those neck pains or achiness or heaviness. You know, those pains that you feel are just messages that these little nuances, these little adjustments would just help you to feel more at home in your body. Okay, as promised, I'm going to read to you cover to cover from my book called The Blissful Warrior, Living the Paradox of Peace and Passion. And of course, we won't read the whole book, but in every Blissful Warrior session, I will read another few pages. So if you can remember the comfort of being read to as a child, by a parent, by a sibling, by a teacher, just settle into that memory for a moment, settle into the comfort of that memory, and I will read to you from The Blissful Warrior. Introduction. The Blissful Mess. I used to wait for a sign, she said, before I did anything. Then one night, I had a dream, and an angel in black tights came to me and said, "You can start any time now." And then I asked, "Is this a sign?" And the angel started laughing, and I woke up. Now I think the whole world is filled with signs. But if there's no laughter, I know they are not for me. Brian Andreas, from Mostly True, Collected Stories and Drawings. I was always waiting for answers. It was my 20th wedding anniversary, and I was waiting again, this time for the trip to Italy my husband had promised. I waited in the same waited for all the promises of my marriage to be fulfilled with doubt. I measured the happiness I was supposed to have and felt lacking. I anticipated the appreciation I was supposed to receive and felt ignored. I sized up the rewards I should have had by now and felt cheated. I was always looking into the horizon, secretly expecting that what I wanted most would never come. I got what I expected. On my anniversary, I awoke and watched the day unfold and my marriage unravel. My husband had decided to shelve the trip and brush aside any kind of anniversary celebration. He gave no excuses, so I invented some of my own. Maybe he was insecure about money. His investments had gone bad in past years. Was I a bad investment? Maybe he didn't have, but hadn't I offered to plan this trip with him? And hadn't he said all along that he'd had it under control? Maybe I had been right all along. I had married a bachelor who preferred Starbucks and the New York Times to conversation and closeness. Or maybe, whispered a slightly shakier voice, there was something more to this story. I was 54 years old. I had 2 mortgages and 5 figures of debt, 2 grown children, and a business. I had every reason to keep it together, except for one that pushed me over the edge. This was my last chance. I could pivot towards the life I wanted, or continue struggling to hold it together the life I had. I let the last patch on my marriage come apart, certain it was my husband's shortcomings that caused the final undoing, and I made a decision. I went to Italy by myself. Take a deep breath. Inhale. And exhale. We all have very personal, private lives, and deep stories, and memories, and triggering events that spark emotional reactions. You can feel it in yourself, and if you look around this world, you don't even have to look very far, you will see it in others. And underneath all of those actions, triggered by events, there is a great story. Everybody has one. Try not to judge yourself for your reactions, but learn that you can manage your feelings and choose the reactions that you would prefer to have. Else also has this choice, and try not to judge anyone too harshly, because you don't know where they are on this journey of living their lives. Thank you for joining me today for Blissful Warrior Yoga Practice. I will be here every day at 12:30, and we will practice again the art of being yourself, being your authentic self, having this wonderful body to live your life in, and being true to your own story. See you tomorrow. Go out and live your life today. The beauty of yoga is not that it heals you when you're doing it. It's that it sets you up to be able to take yourself out into the world and enjoy your life. So go out into your day, being yourself, and enjoy what you can. Om Shanti. Peace and blessings and soothing to you.